So in this video, I want to share with you how you can 10x the results you're getting on your next webinar or presentation so that you can get more clients than you ever dreamed of. Hi, my name's Colin Boyd. I help coaches and course creators design high converting presentations that don't just get them claps, but actually get them clients every single time they speak. And what you're about to learn today, this 3-step methodology will completely change the way you design and present your next webinar. So one of the biggest things that blesses my heart is when I get messages from students. They'll literally message me out of the blue, usually on Instagram, and say, "Hey Colin, I just want to let you know I've been using your Sell From Stage formula and these are the results I got." I remember just recently I got a message from Lindsay and she was like, "Colin, you wouldn't believe it. I've built a presentation and I'm delivering it about once a week. And my revenue has grown so much to a point where I'm making about $20,000 every single month. And the best part is she said, Colin, now I get to be at home. I'm only working a couple of hours a week. I'm delivering the same presentation and I get to be at home with my young son to look after him, to be in his life." For me, that's the reason why I do what I do. Getting messages like this from students, just like randomly, changes my life. And what I'm going to share with you today is some insights that Lindsay and many of our other students have used to develop high converting presentations. Okay, so here's the big mistake that most course creators and coaches make when they're designing their presentation to sell their offer, is they go into their course for the content they're going to use in that presentation. You see, the problem with that is that you're gonna overwhelm your audience with way too much information. Have you ever done that? Like, have you ever got a message or a comment at the end of your webinar and they've said something like, "This has been so valuable, it's been amazing. Can I just have a couple of months to get through all the steps that you've given me? And then I'll come back and I'll check out your course, because your course looks great, but I just want to get through these steps first." Have you ever been guilty of that? Maybe type the word guilty down below if you've ever been guilty of that. I know I have, because I know for me, when I first started presenting, especially when I was presenting to sell a course, I used to get great comments, right? Which is still the goal. You want great comments, but you don't want just great comments, you want clients. I remember I did a presentation where I had a couple of hundred people signed up to the webinar. I was so excited. I'm doing the numbers in my head. I'm like, my gosh, I'm gonna make like 20,000, maybe 50. No, I reckon I could do $100,000 on this presentation. I did the presentation. Do you know how many people bought my course? One. I made $1,000, which is not bad. The problem was the person bought like my lowest payment plan. So it was like $97 a month, right? And so I basically made $97 for the month. And I was kind of devastated because I'd lost a couple of $1,000s in the process. And I was like, this can't be right. So that was when I got obsessed about what's the difference between content that is like good and content that actually converts. And I didn't want to do it in a way that felt like icky and sleazy. I wanted to do it in a way that felt good for me, good for the audience, but also was magnetic in drawing them into my courses. Now, that same course that I was trying to sell, where I sold one to several hundred people, it was basically a flunk. I ended up selling over 2,000 of those courses. Now, it was $1,000. So we did like $2.3 million in revenue over about a 3-year period, selling that same course that didn't sell before. And so I want you to know, I've been where you've been. If you've had an experience where you've ran a webinar, ran a presentation, didn't get any clients or very few, went well below your expectations, I know exactly what that feels like. My clients say it to me all the time. They're like, "Colin, I've ran this webinar before, it didn't work." And then then I redesigned it based on your methodology and I just got 17 clients. Happens all the time. That's what I want for you. So let's get into these 3 ideas so that you can do it as well. Okay, so let me take you through the 3 ideas right now. The first thing you need to do when you're thinking about designing your presentation is you need to, number 1, you need to reduce resistance. Right? Something like that. Reduce resistance. What I mean by that is there are all these resistances that your audience has around your offer, around the thing that you help people with. Like, let's say, I don't know, let's say you're a spiritual coach, right? You help people develop their spiritual awareness, create alignment, maybe draw what they want into their life. They probably have some resistances around that. And so what you need to do is you need to bring up the fact that there are some resistances around that. It's almost like a handbrake. So they're coming into your presentation. They have all these handbrakes that they're pulled up on that are stopping them moving forward. Like maybe a resistance might be that they don't actually believe that their spiritual life is directly connected to their business life. So part of your teaching would be you have to show them that your spiritual life and your business life are one. In fact, the energy and the spirit you bring to what you do is the reason why you're getting the business results that you're getting, right? You have to prove that case, but you need to make that connection. Now I say that, right? I'm just like making this up, by the way, but it's kind of true, right? I actually do believe that as well. I believe that your energy your spirit, your energy has a direct impact on the money you make, on the business you grow, right? So the first thing you need to do is you need to think about your content and don't just go, what can I teach them? You need to go, what's basically stopping my audience from taking that next step? And you identify those things and you're going to teach them content on the topic of the resistances. That's number one. Number two is you need to increase desire. You need to increase their desire. What I mean by increasing their desire is you need to show them that you're really good at what you do and show them like the sexy things, right? I bet in your course, in your coaching experience, you've got some really specific things that you do that are like your sexy things. They're your rock stars. They're the things that when the audience sees it, they are really intrigued by it. For me, one area of that, the sexy things, is the storytelling. So in our Sell From Stage Academy, I've got a whole focus on storytelling and how to craft signature stories that connect and convert your audience. How to tell a story in a way that just feels authentic, but also moves the audience towards your offer. So storytelling for me would be something that I would teach on a presentation because it's a sexy topic. Like people are into that. They're interested in it. Another thing would be creating high converting offers, right? So having your offer connected to your presentation is really important. So it's what I call offer audience synergy or offer content synergy. There's a synergy between it. That's like a sexy topic. People want to know how to create offers that actually convert. So I could teach, for me, I'm talking about for me, I could teach that in my presentation. Maybe for you, think about what you do. Like if we go back to maybe you're a spiritual coach or a career coach, right? If you're a career coach, maybe the sexy thing is the idea of like basically, getting a promotion, right? And so you could talk at a high level about how a promotion actually works from what we think it does, right? So you could do some teaching on getting their promotion, on earning more money, on up-leveling the influence they have in their organization. So the second piece of content you want to teach is something that would increase their desire for the topic that you teach. Does that make sense? So they're going to watch it and they're going to say, first of all, they're going to say, you're good at what you do, like you're really good. And secondly, it's like kind of whet the appetite for them to want to learn more. And don't serve them like an all-you-can-eat Domino's buffet, right? Not like the all-you-can-eat buffet. Serve them a decadent meal. You know when you go to like one of those nice restaurants and they serve you the beautiful meal and you're like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing, and you eat it, and then on the way home you swing by McDonald's because you're still hungry. That's how they should feel after the presentation. In other words, they say, that was amazing, like really beautiful meal, and I'm kind of still hungry, right? So that should be the result of increasing desire in your teaching. The third element that you have to do is reveal the vehicle. Now, you may not be able to read that because I wrote something else before. I made a spelling error. But reveal the vehicle. Revealing the vehicle is essentially showing them the uniqueness of what you do. So what I mean by that, for us, I have a vehicle which is a signature talk, and specifically, it's called a sharp sell. So a sharp sell is a high converting presentation. It's a very specific structure that you follow that gets you clients, right? And it does it in a way that doesn't feel pushy or icky. So that's a sharp sell. That's my vehicle. So when I teach, I will teach the vehicle, like the key elements of the vehicle. For you, like let's say you're a career coach, the vehicle might be, think about, it's basically your methodology. It's like maybe the methodology is plan your career, connect at a high level, like build influence, and then execute with intention. Maybe they're the three elements, right? I'm just making this up. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to think about what's the methodology that I teach, and you're going to show it sometimes in a visual way like this. You could put it in a triangle or a Venn diagram or something, but some sort of like step-by-step. But when I say step-by-step, not too detailed, right? You want to think high level. What are the big elements that are involved in revealing the vehicle? And what will happen is if you do these three things, you reduce the resistance, you increase their desire for the content that you're teaching, and then you reveal a very unique experience, a unique vehicle of them experiencing you. What happens is you're going to get 10x results on your next presentation and webinar. So we've just covered the three elements of a high converting presentation. I'd love to know in the comments before you leave this video, what's been most insightful for you? Like what popped for you, stood out, where you're like, oh, I hadn't thought about it like that. Let me know in the comments what's been most insightful, or maybe what's the hardest part for you about creating content. Either one of those, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe. And if you're really serious, by the way, about creating a high converting presentation, I've got a more in-depth training. It's called the 5 Secrets to Selling on webinar and live stages. That training goes through in so much more detail, not just this, but a whole bunch of other things that you can use in your next presentation. So if you're serious about building your high converting presentation, go and check that training out. The link will be in the show notes, or you can go to colinboyd.co/workshop. And that's a free training, completely free. You can go and check that out, and that'll show you how to design your presentations to get the clients that you truly want. So definitely go and check that out as well. We'll see you on the next video.